Speaking Section Directions. In the speaking section of the TOEFL iBT test, you will be able to demonstrate your ability to speak in English about a variety of topics by answering 4 questions. In the test, the first question is about a familiar topic. Your response is scored on your ability to speak clearly and coherently about the topic. In the next 2 questions, your responses are based on what you have read and heard. First, you will read a short text, either about a campus-related change or an academic topic. The text will go away, and then you will listen to either a conversation about the campus-related change or a short lecture on the academic topic. You will then be asked a question about what you have read and heard. You need to combine appropriate information from the text and the talk to provide a complete answer to the question. For the final question, you will listen to part of a lecture on an academic topic. You will then be asked to summarize the main points of what you heard. Your responses to these questions are scored on your ability to speak clearly and coherently, and on your ability to accurately convey information about what you have read and or heard. During the test, you can take notes while you read and while you listen to the conversations and lectures, and you can use your notes to help prepare your response. Listen carefully to the directions for each question. The directions are not written on the screen. You will be given a short time to prepare your response, 15 to 30 seconds depending on the question. A clock shows how much preparation time remains. When the preparation time is up, you will be told to begin your response. A clock shows how much response time remains. A message appears on the screen when the response time has ended. In this practice test, you will not record your responses. Instead, you will hear sample responses. If you wish to practice your responses, you may do so by setting a timer and recording yourself using your own device. Select Continue to go on.
State whether you agree or disagree with the following statement. Then explain your reasons, using specific details in your explanation. Learning through online courses is more effective than learning in the traditional classroom setting.
If this were an actual test question, you would have 15 seconds to prepare your response and 45 seconds to record your response. This is a high-level response.
Learning through online courses is more effective than learning the traditional classroom setting because of 3 reasons. The first is that you can take the courses wherever you are once you have the computer and internet. And the second is that the discussion on the classes could be more easily for some students who are very shy to discuss with friends, classmates, and the professor face-to-face. They can talk whatever they like if they face a computer. What's more, it could be much easier for the students to hand in their assignment. They could just send the email to the professor, and the professor can give the commentators of assignments in the email. So I believe learning through
Read the article from a university newspaper. You will have 50 seconds to read the article. Begin reading now. Now listen to a conversation between 2 students.
Hey, Sue, did you see this article?
Yeah, I did. I don't think that's a very good idea.
Really? You don't think it's a safety hazard, like they said?
No, at least not during the day. I'm pretty sure both of those accidents happened at night, when it's harder to see cyclists. They didn't say that in the article.
Oh, that does make a difference.
Sure it does. Maybe at night, with low visibility, there's a safety hazard. But I don't think there's any danger in the daytime, which is when most people need to move around and get to classes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Besides, it's such a big campus. If they do this, it's going to be really hard to get around.
Well, we can always take the bus, I guess.
But the buses only run once an hour.
That's true. They're not very convenient.
No, not at all. If people have to take the bus, we'll end up sitting around waiting for the next one all the time. And we're all too busy to waste our time doing that.
The woman expresses her opinion of the proposed policy change. State her opinion and explain the reasons she gives for holding that opinion.
If this were an actual test question, you would have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to record your response. This is a mid-level response.
Well, the newspaper noticed that the students cannot use bicycles because it is considered as a safe risk. But the girl, does not agree with it. She thinks that first,
low visibility.
the bus caused accident mainly because when it's night, people cannot see each other clearly, and during daytime, a bicycle is very safe. And the second, she thinks that the campus is quite big, and not using bicycles causes very inconvenient to get to classes. And finally, although the campus provide bus, but it's not well.
Now read the passage from a psychology textbook. You have 45 seconds to read the passage. Begin reading now. Now listen to part of a lecture on the topic in a psychology class.
This happens all the time with kids in schools. Say there's a little boy or girl who's just starting school. Well, they're not really used to the rules about proper behavior for a classroom. So at the beginning they might, interrupt the teacher, walk around the classroom when they're supposed to be sitting down. Just misbehaving in general. Okay, but what happens? Well, the teacher gets angry with them when they act this way. They might get punished. They have to sit at their desks when everyone else is allowed to go outside and play. And they certainly don't like that. Soon, they'll learn that this kind of behavior gets them in trouble. They'll also learn that when they raise their hand to talk to the teacher and sit quietly and pay attention during class, they're rewarded. The teacher tells them she's proud of them and maybe puts little happy face stickers on their homework. Now that their behavior gets a good reaction from the teacher, the kids learn to always act this way in class and not behave the way they used to.
Using the example from the lecture, explain what behavior modification is and how it works.
If this were an actual test question, you would have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to record your response. This is a high-level response.
Behavior modification is defined as people's people's changing their behavior based on their experiences about the consequences of their behaviors. And according to the reading too, the behavior modification can be observed both in experiments and in real life. The professor gives an example of observation of modification in real life about kids. First, when kids first move to school, they do not know the rules, so they do things like walking around when they're not supposed to, or talking when the teacher is speaking. These behaviors will result in punishment, like the teachers reproaching them about how inappropriate that is. And soon they learn to behave better. Because if they learn to raise hands or keep silent in class is more pleasant, teachers praise them. Through this, they learn this behavior is better for them.
Repeating the same action and again and again.
Listen to part of a lecture in a business class.
If a consumer has to choose between two products, what determines the choice? Assume that someone, a purchaser, is choosing between two products that cost the same, okay? If people have a choice between two identically priced products, which one will they choose? They choose the one they think is of higher quality, of course. But what does it mean for a product to be a high-quality product? Well, business analysts usually speak of two major factors of quality. One factor is reliability, and the other is what we call features. So reliability. What's reliability? Well, a product is reliable if it works the way we expect it to work, if it can go a reasonable amount of time without needing repairs. If a product, a car for example, doesn't work the way it should and needs repairs too soon, we say it's unreliable. So product reliability means basically the absence of defects or problems that you weren't expecting. It used to be that when people thought about product quality, they thought mainly about reliability. Today, it's different. People do still care about reliability, don't get me wrong. It's just that manufacturing standards are now so high that, we'll take cars for example, Today's cars are very reliable. So reliability is important, but it's not going to be the deciding factor. So if reliability isn't the deciding factor anymore, what is? Features. All those extras. The things a product has that aren't really necessary, but that make it easier to use or that make it cool. For example, new cars today are loaded with features like electric windows, sunroofs, air conditioning, stereos, and so forth. When people are comparing products today, they look at features because reliability is pretty much equal across the board. And that's why manufacturers include so many features in their products.
Using points and examples from the lecture, explain the two major factors of product quality and how their role in consumer decision-making has changed.
If this were an actual test question, you would have 20 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to record your response. This is a mid-level response.
For example, you're going to purchase something which has the same price, so the choices or the things that you have to look on is the quality, since they have the same price. So what do you mean by quality? So we look at the reliability as well as the features. So when we say reliable, it should work the way it should work, while with the features, what are present in the product. Now normally, if people purchase things now, they look more on the features rather than the reliability of the product. They look more on the things that are present and not on its use, which is actually not necessary. So people tend to, or the consumers tend to focus more on the features rather than reliability.
Almost all products are reliable, therefore it's not that important here.